What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another deck profile. Today we are going to be doing a Dinomist Deck Profile. There's some cards that would change if I had them. I'll just let you know, or I'll put them in the description, cards I would recommend like I usually do. And the deck list I'll probably put in the description as well if you guys just want a written out deck list. But we'll go ahead and get started with my Dinomist Deck Profile. This is just a pure version. I don't have any other things really besides just the Dinomist for the monsters. So, sorry about that, but triple Dinomist Rex to start off the deck profile. You want to run triple of him. He's pretty good overall. He's a 6 scale for Dinomist. They're all 3 and 6 scales. They all fit in between there. The 6 scale for this one is once while this card is in your pendulum zone, you can negate and activate a card effect that targets another Dinomist card you control, and then destroys cards. So you can leave this in the scale. If you have it in the scale, then if some targets a Dinomist, you could destroy it. And then it goes to extra deck. Pretty good. All the 6 scales do the same things. They are water types, so you do get some cards that apply to water types. We'll show you as we go through more. Well, with his effect, basically, if he attacks at the end of the damage step, you contribute another Dinomist card. And then you can make a second attack, and then if the attack's defense position is piercing, or you shuffle one card at your opponent's hand at random or side of the field into the deck, and then you will gain 100. So he has like a Castel-like effect for that, so he's pretty good. I'm playing him at 3. Here is, we're running triple of Spinos. He's level, not level 3, he's level 5 as you can see, but he's scale 3. All the scale 3s do the same thing, which is if another Dinomist card you control would be destroyed by battle or opponent's card effect, you can destroy this card instead. So it gives an extra protection if you have these in the scale. And then his effect, you contribute one other Dinomist card and activate one of these effects. The first one is this card can attack opponent directly this turn, and the second one is this card can make a second attack during each battle phase this turn. You can tribute off 2 Dinomist monsters, so you have him and then just say 2 Rex or something. You could trade both of them off, and you could attack directly and attack twice that turn. So you could do 5,000 damage right there with just this card and 2 other Dinomists you can tribute off. So it makes him pretty good. I'm playing triple Dinomist Brachion. He isn't the greatest level 5, but his 6 scale does the same as the other 6 scales, which I already mentioned. Basically, he's like Cyber Dragon. You can special summon if your opponent controls the highest monster on the field, even if it's tied and you don't not control Brachion. Not too bad. It's kind of like he's basically just Cyber Dragon. Triple Ceratops. If you open Brachion and Ceratops, you can make, without Pendulum Summon, you can make Cyber Dragon Infinity if you need to. So they have, like, for example, I was playing someone, they had number 38 out. So they can negate spells once per turn. They are allowed to negate 1. So he would just destroy the skills and wouldn't get them out. But since I had opened up Brachion, which you special summon out, and then Ceratops, you could special summon out because his effect is if you do not control him and all the monsters you control minimum 1 are Dinomist, you just special summon them from your hand. So you could go Brachion, and then you can go into Ceratops, and then you make Infinity. Pretty good. It's an easy way to make Infinity without having the Pendulum Summon. So that's all our level 5s we're playing. You want to run triple of, I don't want to mess up his name, but anyways, this is the Searcher deck. He battles an opponent's monster, and he wins. You get to search a Dinomist card. Pretty good. Triple Plesios, pretty good. Your opponent loses 100 attack and defense, all their monsters, times the amount of Dinomist cards you control. So if you control one of him, 2 scales, say him and 2 scales, that's 300. All their monsters lose attack and defense. If you have 2, they do stack their effect. So you have 2 of them, they lose another 100 per card. So pretty good. You want to play triple of him. This card is not too bad. I can't run triple because I'm already running a lot of monster count. I'm only running 2. I used to play 3, but I needed to make room for another 3 scale. Basically, if banish any monster, your opponent, when you destroy someone with a Dinomist card, it gets banished instead when he's on the field. Any Dinomist cards. This card's not really that good. I was debating cutting maybe one of this guy, and then one of him. And just run one of this guy, just because we're playing a high monster count already. But this is mainly, I'm just using this as a 3 scale another to even out the scale numbers. Triple charge, this card is like super good. So basically, say you use a scale effect to protect your Dinomist cards, you could just re-add it to your hand. So basically, when it's activated, you get to search for a Dinomist monster, and then on top of that, any card that goes to the extra deck goes to your hand. So it's super useful, definitely want to play it. Because also it also forces them to destroy that card before they destroy your scales. Because if they destroy your scales, charge will activate and you'll just get the scale back to your hand. One of Dynamic Power Load, it's not really that good, I'm not gonna lie. I'm only playing one. Basically you just get 300 attack and defense. And then if a Dinomist monster you control battles, your opponent can't activate cards or effects till the end of the damage step. I wouldn't play more than one. You could play 2 if you want, but I don't think it's the greatest card. One Regeki, just in case you need it, super useful. I don't think I need to explain it. One Twin Twister. You really don't want to discard too much, but it's really good for getting rid of back row. You could run MST instead, or a couple MSTs if you want. One limiter, it's a machine deck, makes sense. Doubles the attack and then the destroy during the end phase. Pretty good. Can help you go for game. Triple, going under our traps now. Triple Dinomist Rush. Super good card. There's a lot of times I would lose, but this card saves me so they can't keep directly attacking me. Basically, you special summon one Dinomist card and then is unaffected by their traps and then destroyed during the end phase. Helps you low up your extra deck too. If someone just like Twin Twisters it or something, you can just activate it, get a card out there, even if they don't do anything, it'll just go to the extra deck. Helps you fill up the extra decks quick, because this deck sometimes could be slow for filling up the extra deck. And then it's unaffected by their trap, other effects, which is super useful. 2 of this card, Spiritual Water Art, pretty good. So basically tribute 1 water monster here, look at your opponent's hand and send 1 card from their hand to the graveyard. Super good, you get to see what your opponent has in their hand, and you get to send 1 card from their hand to the graveyard, just by tributing off a Dinomist that you could pendulum summon out. Super good. A lot of 1-ups here, 1 bottomless, limited to 1, but you need back rows, pretty good. I'm playing 1 time space. If you have some instant fusions, I would probably play those for the spells. I should mention that. And Norden, since he's not banned, that's what I recommend for those. But I currently don't have those right now. 1 time space, if you don't know, 1,000, and you send the cards back to the deck. 1 Torrential Tribute, super useful if your opponent's doing too much on their turn. And plus pendulum monsters, you could just re-pendulum them out basically. Going on. Also, if you have some mirror forces, I would recommend playing some of the like Quaking or Storming mirror forces over some of these traps, because they're pretty useful. Going on to our other cards, Grand Norden Heaven. I unfortunately only have 1 strike, so I'm running this. Basically, it's like strike, but your opponent draws a card. Another benefit for this one is not as good as strike, but your opponent does go straight to battle phase. So they'll probably have no monsters anyways going into battle phase, which is good. 1 Horn of Heaven, I might bump this to 2. It's actually pretty good in this deck, because you would tribute a monster when they would special summon a monster or monsters, and then you negate the activation. And with charge, if you have charge on the field, it'll just go back to your hand. So it's like a free negation when you have charge on the field. And then just 2 Solemn, 1 strike and 1 warning, super good cards. Warnings obviously limited to 1. Strike I only got 1 of. That's all for the main deck. Any suggestions, definitely leave them below. Any cards I don't have that I would recommend, I'll put in the description. Let's go on the extra deck. Double Infinity, Double Nova is the main card you need for the extra deck. You can pretty much run this with just the Nova Infinity, just these 4 cards, is basically all I really go into. Super useful. If you don't know what Infinity does, basically negate anything. And then you're allowed to take once during your opponent's turn, you can attach one of their face-up cards, or yours, I guess, if you want to, as Xyz material, and he gets 200 for each one. Super good card. That's basically all you need for the extra deck. One of these, if you want, it's pretty useful. It's not too bad. Like I say, you mainly just need Infinity. One King of Heavy Industries. You could. I don't have. I do have Volcasaurus. Not in this deck, but you could run him, especially if you have the Gaia. I forget the Gaia card. It's like an Xyz. I'll put it in the description though. But yeah, one of him. Biz Splash. This card's actually pretty good. Basically, it's 2 level 5 water monsters. Once per turn, during either player's turn, you can detach one of these materials from this card. Double the attack of this card until the end of your opponent's turn. And then the only downside is your opponent, any battle damage they take is halved. I think it's battle damage. Yeah, battle damage. So you can get to 4,800 attack, which is super useful. And you can do it during your opponent's turn. Barbaroid, just in case they strike Nova or something going into, before we go into Infinity. Castel, bounce cards back, super useful. This card is a really good rank 4 in this deck. Basically, if your opponent's monsters have different attack than their original attack, you destroy them and draw 1 card. And if you have Plesios out, they are automatically will at least lose 100, so they'll be different. Then you can use this effect. As long as you have a Plesios out with this card, you're good to go. Honor Arc, you don't really make much of these rank 4s. I never do, but say if you need them, I made this card just once. Honor Arc, pretty standard rank 4. Abyss Dweller, with this deck, any of the Xyz material are all water anyways, so he'll bump up all the water types by 500. So not too bad. Negates graveyard effects if you need to. Rebellion Dragon, pretty obvious. Same as Cowboy, 800 for game if you need them. And then finally ended off number 37. Basically, I'll just read off real quick for you guys. When any player's monster declares attack to detach 1 Xyz material from this card, all monsters you control, all your opponent's monsters lose 1,000 attack to the end of this turn. And if you destroy by balance in the graveyard, you can target 1 other monster in the graveyard supposed to summon. You only use this effect once per turn. That is our final extra deck monster. But that's gonna do it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this deck profile. If you did, make sure to leave some comments. Subscribe to the channel. Any deck changes that I might do, I'll update. Or if you guys have any, let me know in the description below. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.